No, no, no. Welcome everybody to the greatest spectator sport in the world. We are live. We're live. We're live in America. Today is April 4 in the year 2023. Do you know where your ex-president is? You know where your ex-president is? Do you? Do you? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. We're waiting for the stream to kick in. Kick it, stream. This is what live broadcasting looks like in America today, in the year 2023. Once upon a time, we had radio stations and TV stations, and now we have real-time news, mother effer. That's right. Individuals speaking their mind in real time. You remember back in the day? I still have fruit flies in my house. Welcome spring. Spring has sprung and the fruit flies are springing. But you remember when we had individuals in America where there was free speech and democracy and such? Well, it seems the thing that strikes me is that what is the difference between an individual and a collective of individuals? Do people really have the right to individual expression anymore? It's something I want to talk about. But it pertains to Trump in the sense that can Donald J. Trump, the most famous man in the world, former president of the United States, again, most famous man in the world, arguably, he's definitely in the top 10. I don't think anybody would dispute that. Can he get what by law is an impartial jury in his probe in New York by political opponents, Joe Biden and such, and Alvin Bragg? Is it possible for Donald Trump to get a free and fair trial in New York City? I say it's impossible. I think that that in itself, when you're questioning a jury, and you're going to ask them, have you ever heard of Donald Trump? Of course you've heard of Donald Trump. I don't think you can get an impartial jury. And I think that will be the most important factor in this criminal probe into Trump. Trump is arriving in New York. This is what Trump lives for. This is how Trump gets his momentum. This is how Trump accelerates. He's a counterpuncher. You punch him and he accelerates into the free press. Right now there's where there was none, there now is hundreds of cameras out in front of Trump Plaza, out in front of 100 Center Street in downtown Manhattan. A circus. The liberal left, who was trying to prosecute Trump for ridiculousness that happened 7 years ago, things involving campaign finance regulation, things that are vague and gray and only apply to very, very wealthy and influential people. These types of laws that don't have any bearing on real people per se. That's what's going on right now. Political opponents attacking one side of a political spectrum, attacking the other side, and the other side using it as a springboard to free press and ultimately capturing the presidency for a second time. So that's where we are right now. That's my thumbnail right now. Lots of imagery coming out of New York City. There's a frenzy on the street. That is outside of, that's Fifth Avenue. Looks like it's looking down Fifth Avenue, right in front of and or across the street from Trump Plaza, where Trump lives, where Trump has his home, and many other images coming out of New York City. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody in the chat very much. Wake Now is here. Weevil Girl, the wrench is here. What's up, everybody? Yogi Fish, Born Annoying, Zoot Suit Cooter, Justin Falzone, Jim Gerard, Jim Steele, Zoot Suit Cooter, Justin Falzone. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll try to unpack this. Is Trump going to get a fair trial? Is this the best thing that ever happened to Trump at this moment? If you were Trump, I think it is. I think Trump knows how to handle it. Trump is, what's the downside? Trump gets fingerprinted and mugshotted. Trump doesn't care about that. Trump would like to see his fingerprints and mugshot publicized, if nothing else. Is this political prosecution in America in the modern age? Yes, it is. Inescapably, unequivocally, a hit from one side of the political spectrum at the other side. And I think that anybody who pays attention to politics or criminal justice or other cases such, there's never been a case such as this, but cases of this caliber of a celebrity, for lack of a better term, Trump is a celebrity, being prosecuted to hold him back from, to take down his momentum. You got to ask yourself this. If Trump went quietly into the horizon, right? If he walked quietly towards the sunset and went away and never said a word after he was unelected, right, in 2020. If he would have just walked away peacefully and quietly and worked on his little media company down there in Florida, this would not be happening, right? Because there would be no political reason to do that. They would have started looking at Trump's spectacular record. Oh, we love Trump, just like Bush. Oh, we love Trump, and because he's no longer a threat to them, their power, right? So if Trump would have walked away peacefully, this case would have never happened. But because Trump is running again, now he's a criminal. You see how it works? Now he's a criminal that needs to be stopped. If he wasn't such a, if he wasn't marching on for power, he would have been viewed as a hero. If you look at the record, Trump did a lot of good things in terms of immigration. He de-escalated World War with Korea, arguably. He's done, his influence is inescapably American. Trump has an inescapable print on American history in both a positive and negative light. And that's how most presidents are viewed historically. But because Trump is trying to regain power, they are criminalizing everything he does. And that is just a fact. Right? Yogi Fish agrees. Yep, just like Bush. Remember when Bush left office? He was while he was in there, he was crimes against humanity. He was a criminal. He was terrible. He sunk the markets. He blew up Iraq. And then as years went by, he became one of the Democrats' most favorite people. Right? Trump would have had the same luxury, and probably still will if he's still alive. Trump's getting old. Trump's 76 years old now. If he runs again, he'll be 80. And as an old man, he'll be, if he wins or loses, it doesn't really matter. If he wins, and he's the president again. If he loses, then maybe the process of walking off into the high grass might be something that interests Trump. Because what is he going to do? Run again? Is Trump going to run again? So this is do or die for Trump. By 2024, the outcome of the Trump debacle or era will have been satisfied. So we'll look at those fascinating time we live in. Times are always fascinating, but this one is particularly fascinating when you have an unprecedented event in politics where an ex-president is being criminally tried for something that for politicians equates to a little shoplifting. Did Trump do a little shoplifting during the 2020 election? Maybe, but who cares? Right? Who cares? Well, you know, it doesn't have anything to do with you or I. It has to do with how Trump, allocated funds and how he used his workforce to get elected in 2020. Basically, that's the basic gist of it. So anyway, my name is Marcus Conte. I got a website. Every morning at 9 a.m., agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. We're still here. Oh, I want to say yesterday's program got banned from YouTube by the people at 60 Minutes. You heard? The people at 60 Minutes. So I covered their interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I guess they didn't like it, and they struck the channel. They struck the channel with a copyright strike, not a strike, but a copyright infringement, and blocked the video from being seen. Congratulations. Congratulations, 60 Minutes, on silencing anybody who disagrees with you. If my memory isn't failing me, I've used 60 Minutes as a springboard many times. Enjoyed many of your interviews, but now because it makes Trump look good, Taylor Greene look good, suddenly it's banned. So censorship is still going on. Censorship, no doubt about it. I have a website. Every morning at 9 a.m. we're live. And tonight at 7 p.m. we have a Dharma gathering, which is basically the analysis of the nature of reality. Not in a religious sense, but in the sense of real. What is real and what isn't? What is real? Well, for example, there's a talking head in front of you staring at his camera, talking directly to you. He is a real person, as opposed to, it's a real event happening, as opposed to the jargon and the noise that resides in most people's minds. A monkey mind, a voice that goes on and on endlessly about left and right, about up and down, about positive versus negative, in a constant struggle with oneself. Right? Inside each individual is a struggle of some sort with the past, reconciliation of the past. These are the types of issues we look at. And in this report is discovery. The only thing, the single one thing that can improve that condition is meditation. So anyway. So I got a website. Oh, so let's a little breaking news. The crew for Artemis 2 has been picked. They picked the crew that's going to go up to the moon. It's going to fly around Earth once, and then it's going to head off to the moon for 4 days, make a trip around the moon, about 6,000 miles away from the moon, and then return to Earth and call it a day. Now, that's the preliminary before the next crew goes up there and lands on the moon and starts digging for resources to get to Mars. So let's look at the crew. There's a black and a woman. So stop complaining, women and blacks, that you're not represented. You got a woman and a black and a Canadian. Huh.
Oh, Kira, it is an exciting day here in Houston, and here they are, the lucky 4 astronauts. Thank you so much for joining us here on ABC News Live. What's going through your mind right now? I mean, you are going to the moon. Reed, why don't we start with you?
That is awesome to hear you say. I think the thing that's most going through our minds right now is the team, right? This is a huge effort for NASA, for the United States of America, for Canada, for the whole world, and it's great to have.
They're going to the moon. They are going to the moon. Is it real?
This tiny step.
Yes, it is.
Step complete today, and we are really pumped to take on this challenge.
And I know you've been to space. You've spent more than 160 days in space, just like Victor. But right next to you is Christina Cook. And Christina Cook, you've spent over 320 days in space.
That's true. I was privileged to have a very long mission on the ISS.
And here you are a record breaker, and now you're
a record breaker. She's the first woman, first vagina to the moon. Congratulations, you're putting a vagina on the moon. Well, it hasn't touched the moon yet. There has never been a human vagina on the moon. It's only been a rack and balls.
We're going to break another record because we're talking about humans going farther than humans have ever gone before.
Did you call her a woman? Did you say she broke a record because she's a woman? Maybe she doesn't identify. Why are you identifying her as a woman? Because she agreed to identify as a woman? Maybe she, in her inner sense, doesn't identify as a human, but more doesn't identify as a woman, but more as a human. I think ABC is guilty of discrimination here by calling her a woman, and announcing a groundbreaking world record for the first woman in space. How do you know she's a woman? What determines? Are we even able to determine womanhood anymore? I don't know. Let's look at the photo. Does it look like a woman? Is this a woman? Do we have to ask the human, are you woman or are you male? What the hell are you? These are the times we live in right now. People are confused about very ultra simple observations. Yes, woman, female. Female characteristics, woman. Simple.
What's going through your mind?
You know, the thing about records is that it's not about any one individual's success or contribution even. It's about the fact that it marks a milestone, a state of the art of where we're at and where we're choosing to go. I always say my biggest hope for any record is that it's broken as soon as possible, because that means we're continuing to push the boundaries. We're continuing to...
What record? You're talking about the record of a first woman into space. It's ridiculous. I don't even want to entertain this, but let's look at the black.
In my family, I don't know. The ones that I did tell, I don't know how hard it was for them, but it wasn't very hard to keep it a secret here.
What's it like telling your families? Like, hey...
Oh, wait, he looks like a white black. Is he a white acting black, or is he a real black?
I'm going really, really far into space.
Let's see. Here he is.
See that 300-plus foot tall rocket on the launch pad.
Oh,
and then
man.
we'll get suited up with the closeout team and strapped in, and we'll have a countdown. And then we will actually spend the first day in orbit around the Earth. We'll go into a different few trajectories, but we'll be, you know, from a couple of 100 miles to up to 40,000 miles away from the Earth, testing out systems on the first day. And so we can...
I think he has a little bit of a black twang. If you're an American, you can hear a slight black accenting twang in his voice. So he looks black. So I guess he is the black human breaking ground. It's earth-shaking, groundbreaking. It's world record stuff. We're putting the first black and the first vagina. So we're going to the moon, and they picked. Let's watch something more interesting. Here's Trump.
The word threw a party in the county jail.
Go.
The prison band was there and they began to wail. The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard a knocked out jailbird sing. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in full cell block. Dancing to the jailhouse rock.
Let's go.
Spider Murphy played the tenor saxophone. Sleepy Joe's blowing on the slide trombone. The drummer boy from Illinois went crash, boom, bang. The whole rhythm section was a purple gang. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in full cell block. Dancing to the jailhouse rock.
Sing it,
Number
Trump.
47 said to number 3, you're the cutest jailbird I ever did see. Sure would be delighted with your company. Come on into the jailhouse rock with
Yeah, man.
the word that threw a party in the
That
county.
was awesome. Awesome, man. Whoever put that together. Genius. This is what genius art looks like. Trump dancing in orange. He loves orange. So I wanted to. You know what? I'm gonna hold off on this article. Excuse me. In a second, we'll come right back to it. So let's talk about Trump. Here we are. So Trump appear in New York City court today on unprecedented indictment. A grand jury has decided that there is enough evidence to convict Trump on, or at least have a trial for Trump for violations of hush monies issued to one Stormy Daniels back in 2016. Let's find out. Here's the details, and then we'll unpack the whole thing. Former President Trump will make his first appearance in a Manhattan courtroom Tuesday afternoon on criminal charges. That's about 2:15 p.m. Tied to the Stormy Daniels hush money payment, making an unprecedented moment in U.S. history. Damn straight. Unprecedented. Trump, 76, will face a historic booking and arraignment after he surrenders to the Manhattan District Attorney Office downtown in early afternoon, 2:15. He will be fingerprinted and likely have his mugshot taken before his scheduled 2:15 p.m. hearing in Manhattan Supreme Court. Manhattan Supreme will be, okay, so that's the little courthouse across the street from the other criminal court. There's two courts on Center Street. One side is lower level criminal, and then the Supreme felonies on the other side of the street, where the higher the killers are. And so they got Trump walking into the courthouse. Trump became the first U.S. president to be hit with a criminal charge Thursday when grand jury convened by Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg voted to indict him in connection to the six-figure payment made to Stormy Daniels in the lead-up to the 2016 election. So if you haven't heard that, if you're new to the story, that's what's happening. You have a criminal probe into something from 2016, hush money, delivered to a hooker to shut her up. It was orchestrated by the Trump campaign. It was executed by Michael Cohen, the lawyer. Cohen admittedly lied about certain things and got carted off to jail for it. And a lot of other people around Trump have gotten carted off to jail, or at least attempted to. But anyway, the ex-commander-in-chief is said to be facing more than 30 counts of falsifying business records, including one felony count. Yahoo News Monday night said Trump will be charged with 34 felony counts, which, how do we know? Because the indictment hasn't been unsealed yet. The indictment is still under seal. How did Yahoo News report that there are 34 felonies, charged with 34 felony counts? How on earth did Yahoo News find out? Well, you would speculate that the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, committed a felony by himself in itself for leaking that information to the news. You're leaking sealed information to the public against a presumed innocent American. Remember, Trump is innocent till proven guilty. Not like Nancy Pelosi says he has to prove his innocence. Oh, Trump, let him prove his innocence. No, we don't prove our innocence in America. We maintain our innocence, and you have to prove guilt. That's how the system works. Or at least that's how the system used to work. But according to the politicians in charge, people like Alvin Bragg, Trump is guilty, and we're going to he'll prove his innocence, Nancy. Trump isn't expected to be wearing handcuffs when he is escorted into the courtroom. Trump is not going to walk in the front door of the courthouse. Now, there's only two ways into that courthouse. I know that on one side of criminal court is Chinatown. There's an entrance where they bring in, like a secret entrance. There's no underground anything. And on the other side, Supreme Court, one side is Center Street, and on the other side is Broadway, it's very close to Broadway, which they're not going to parade him through the crowd, in my opinion. If I were there and I wanted to see Trump, I wouldn't expect to see him. Maybe on the way out, he might come out, But he should. I think Trump should definitely do a campaign rally. Do it right there's a little park right across the street from the criminal court. Do a rally there. Just go out there and say hello to everybody. Secret Service, fuck you. So no handcuffs. Trump is expected to enter a not guilty plea, of course. Alvin Bragg is set to hold a press conference following the hearing. So, fat boy, political hack, Alvin Bragg, the guy who's getting paid to go after Trump, who admitted that he's going after Trump. He ran on a campaign of, I'm going after Trump, is going to hold a press conference right afterwards. Witch hunt, says Trump. As our once great country is going to hell, he posted on Truth Social on Monday, Trump said. Stefani Clifford, that's Stormy Daniels' real name, if you didn't know. Stephanie Clifford. Also another Playboy bunny, Karen McDougal. Trump has claimed that he's never had sex with any of these women. Just like Bill Clinton, I've never had sex with that woman. He said about Monica Lewinsky. Both women alleged they had sexual encounters with Trump in the years before he entered politics, which he has denied. And why is that even an affair? Why is that even an issue? I don't know. It doesn't. Why are people talking about Trump's sexual activity before he was president? Who cares? Why does it matter? Right? He's a man. He's doing his thing, and he's a rich, famous man, and he owns casinos. Why does it matter to you that what Trump does in his spare time? It has no bearing on his ability to govern or any of those things. The spectacle surrounding his arraignment sparked major security concerns throughout Manhattan. Eric Adams says to Trump supporters, be on your best behavior, bitch. As he warned the NYPD wouldn't hesitate to arrest and charge anyone who breaks the law in protest over the former president's arraignment. We're going to arrest you. Meanwhile, right down the block and across the street and next door, looters are ripping the high hell out of high-end boutiques all over New York City, looting and robbing, and what used to be called grand larceny is now legal. When you see someone shoplifting, get out of the way because it has nothing to do with you, the liberals say. So Eric Adams chirped in saying, control yourself, man. Trumpsters, control yourself. Trump touched down in New York City on Monday afternoon, so he's already there. After flying in on his brand name red, white, and blue Boeing 757 private jet from Mar-a-Lago in Florida, the former president who arrived at his Trump Tower residence to find it flanked by protesters, he waved to the crowd. Trump is scheduled to return to Mar-a-Lago immediately after the arraignment. So I'm sorry to the crazy women that want to see Trump in fucking jail. He's going to fucking jail. You see, I told you to arrest Trump. Arrest him. He's put him in fucking jail. All right, those Trump ladies, right, might not get what they want. They're just going to get Trump, rioting the free press. He's going to fly in on his luxury jet. He's going to stay in his luxury apartment. He's going to spend about an hour in front of the cameras, and he's going to smirk at Alvin Bragg, and then he's going to get right back on his very, very rich and famous, go back to his rich and famous home, powder his nose, and get back on his very powerful plane and fly back to Malaga where he's safe and sound. That's how Trump's living it. So if you wanted to inconvenience Trump and make Trump unhappy with all of this, guess what, liberal left? It fails. Don't you understand who Trump is and what he does? He's a counterpuncher. He's enjoying it, and he's going to, clearly so far, he's profiting from it. Look at some of the images coming out of New York. These are the images. Donald Trump arrives in New York ahead of a historic surrender to Manhattan prosecution. Surrender, it's figurative at best. If Alvin Bragg, if the district attorney in New York had the ability to hold Trump in jail, right? If they had that ability, they would do it. They would hold Trump in jail, arrest him and handcuff him and put him in jail and give him his fucking hot tea and bologna sandwich like every other criminal gets when they get there. They would do that to Trump if they could, but they can't do it. Right? So is it really a surrender to prosecutors? Not really. Trump arrived in New York on Monday to face unprecedented criminal charges. TV cameras trailed him. They said the judge in this case has allowed some cameras in the courtroom, even in this proceeding. So I think we're going to get to see a little blur of what's going on inside that courthouse, inside that courtroom. I guess the arraignment is simply they're going to read off 35 fucking ridiculous charges against Trump. Trump's going to plead not guilty. He's going to be released on his own reconnaissance. He's going to walk out the door, and that's the end of it for months. Sorry, I really would love people of the generation of wanting to see Trump in fucking prison because he's so bad and horrible that he's going to be locked up. He's not going to be locked up. There's a president of the United States. He ain't going to jail. If a president of the United States goes to jail, I'm not even going to speculate that because it's not going to happen. It just doesn't. It's not possible under the circumstances. Under these very, very allergies kicking in. I'm definitely allergic to something. Sorry. I'm sorry for coughing in your ear like that. Andy Garcia says it's the Teflon Don. He is Teflon Don. He's set to arrive at criminal courthouse at 100 Center Street. A few hours prior to his arraignment. Trump's set to arrive at the courthouse a few hours. Hours? I don't know about that. Maybe he might sit outside in the limo, but I don't think he's going to sit in the courthouse for hours. Or maybe he might have to because he's like, they're going to treat him like dirt. Get to the back of the line, sir. Sir, get to the back of the line. All right. He's going to have to sit in a room with other criminals. That'd be a great fucking time to be arrested. Imagine being in court and you're some schmo and and in comes the door. In through the door comes Donald Trump in his fucking suit on, and you're sitting in the cell block waiting to be fingerprinted and mugshotted with Donald Trump. I bet Trump will be cordial. Hey man, how you doing, guys? Anytime when you get out of here, come visit me. And right, he reaches into his pocket, he gives him a card, $200. Trump's got a wad of cash in his pocket, right? A gun. He probably took his gun away, but he's probably got a wad of cash. Got a big wad of cash. He's handing out cash in everywhere, right? In the cell block. Hey man, how you doing? Well, Mr. President, I'm not doing so well. Well, here's $200 for you. All right. Turn it into that's what Trump's gonna do, man. He's gonna turn it into a circus. I imagine he's got that the humanness of him is like, oh shit, I'm going to fucking jail. Oh shit, they got me. I'm sure that is in his mind in a small sense, but here's some of the people that are getting riled up in New York where there was no crowd. Now there is huge crowds for Donald J. Trump. The fabulous return of Donald J. Trump to New York City. There he is, spotted in his car. He's coming out. He's waving to the crowd. He's waving. That's him leaving Florida. There's his son. Oh my God, the son. And there he is. The big. He's not flying coach. Sorry, Alvin Bragg. He's not flying coach. He's not schlepping it. He's not suffering at all. He's not suffering enough, Alvin. God bless Donald Trump. You would, if you were watching this, you might think I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not a supporter of any politician, really. I'm a guy who commentates on it, the old school. Like I like Trump because he's funny and he's fun to cover. But I think he was a talented. I think Trump is very talented politician, and he has the ability to place his finger on the pulse of America, like no politicians. Obama had that. All politicians have it to some degree. I don't think Joe Biden has it at all, or at least maybe he does, but he speaks to a very fading generation, a generation of really, really yesterday, a kind of a yesterday feeling Joe Biden caters to. Not necessarily older people, but people that long for not make America great again, because you can't really say that, because then you're a racist. But a time where older gentlemen were more respectful. You know what I mean? That's who Joe Biden kind of, sort of, that's his core crowd. It's not me. It's maybe not you, but he definitely has that quality. And I think Trump is a brilliant politician in many respects. He goes right to the core. He's very good at it. So here's an ultra MAGA. He's an ultra MAGA. If you want to call me MAGA, call me ultra extreme. Ultra extreme MAGA. We are ultra extreme MAGA. MAGA, get it? You get it? Wink, wink. Ultra extreme MAGA. What other images? Where are we here? We are on the corner somewhere. Where are we? Outside of, Trump's house. This is up on Fifth Avenue somewhere. Fifth Avenue. Fake news everywhere. Fake news reporting. If I were there, I wouldn't be in the cage. As a reporter, I roam. I walk. There's nothing to report there. What are you going to do? Get a glimpse of Trump? Trump's not going to come out of his house and speak. Trump is going to speak after the arraignment. And he's going to do it tonight after Alvin Bragg goes in front of the cameras. So Trump will leave the courthouse. He'll wave. Don't expect him to say anything. He's going to wait for Bragg to speak to the cameras at a press conference, probably around 3 o'clock. And then Trump will go live. He should big spectacle tonight with Trump addressing the cameras and addressing the indictment for the first time. That'll happen tonight. We already know his stands, not guilty, calling it a witch hunt. Following his surrender, expected to be 1:30 p.m. Tuesday, he'll be fingerprinted and likely mugshotted. That mugshot's going to be worth some money if you want to leak something, NYPD. Leak the mugshot, man. Leak the mugshot. I wanted to talk about this case. That's all I got on Trump. And then we'll look at the markets. What is the market open? Yes, the market is open. Let's do a quick look at the markets, and then we'll move into a story. Oh, down. We're going red. Diamond, let's avoid whack-a-mole response to bank crisis. Headline doesn't make sense. So NASDAQ is open down. We're 15 minutes into the session. NASDAQ down 33. Dow down 33. S&P 500 down 5. Not particularly bad. Let's see how it rebounds off the bottom. So we have a red open on Wall Street. In light of Trump's indictment, does that have any effect? Not really. Apple 66 cents down. Amazon flat at 102. Google 105. Meta, formerly Facebook, getting a lot of heat from Apple, being challenged from their own from their left, Apple, on a couple of fronts, a couple of technology fronts. I read. Apple is coming for Zuckerberg's metaverse. Don't rule out Apple. Apple's a very, very powerful influence on Earth. Very, very $2 trillion corporation. Shares at 102 per share right now. And so mostly flat to medium down open, slightly down. I wanted to talk about this, and then I'll let you go. Bob Iger calls DeSantis policy anti-business as tensions between Disney and Florida grow. All right, so Disney is getting hit by Ron DeSantis for his "don't say gay" policy in Florida. Ron DeSantis doesn't want little tranny, confused types of characters influencing very, very young children about their sexuality. According to Marjorie Taylor Greene, that almost borders on pornography or pedophilia, where you're promoting sexuality to young children, right? So DeSantis is kind of, sort of on the, on that, trying to shut Disney up and stop promoting that crap to young kids, in a gist. But the argument that the CEO makes is staggering, right? Staggering. Listen to this. CEO Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, addressed the company's ongoing battle with Ron DeSantis during the media giant's annual meeting. And he says this: a company has a right to freedom of speech just like individuals do. Iger said, adding DeSantis's policies are anti-business and anti-Florida. Well, they're not anti-business and they're not anti-Florida. But does a company have the right to freedom of speech just like an individual does? No, they do not. Why? Because they're not individuals. They are a collective of pay-for-play individuals. You don't work for Disney unless you agree to their worldview. That is not individualism. That is not an individual anymore. That is a collective. So can you point somewhere in the Constitution where it says that collectives of human beings have a right to free speech, right? Isn't it the individuals within? Isn't it the individual right to free speech, not the right? You follow what I'm saying? So it's a tricky subject. So I asked AI because I'm too stupid to understand any of it. Does a company have a right to freedom of speech just like an individual does? Right? Under U.S. law, corporations are recognized as legal entities, and they have some of the same rights as individuals, including the right to free speech. However, the scope of corporations' right to free speech is not unlimited. AI is programmed to with a corporate view, right? What is individual? The individual is me, for example. Am I refrained by what I'm saying? Look, you can't say that corporations are individuals and money is speech. Money is speech, and corporations are individuals. The individual can exercise its free speech and give money and influence anybody it wants with its money. That is not an individual. That is a superpower. That is a super powerful creation. It's not an individual. I would argue that in the Supreme Court, to the Supreme Court, all the way to the end, that the corporation is not an individual at all. So free isn't really free. It's a condition, I asked. Right? Anyway, but that's so AI kind of agreed with the narrative, and then I asked also if someone is wildly famous, impartial jury appears to be impossible. Can a famous person get an impartial trial by jury in the U.S.? And it said, well, the same principles apply to anybody in the United States, that the system is set up pre-trial questionnaires and the ability for both of the prosecution and defense to challenge potential jurors. Jurors are instructed to base their decisions solely on the evidence. No way. No way can you get a fair trial for a former president of the United States, one of the most famous people in the world. And clearly, unequivocally, corporations are not individuals. It never will be. They never will be. They're pay-for-play hacks. You work for a corporation, you do as the corporation tells you, or you're out. Right? That is not individual expression whatsoever. So that's all I got today. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll keep watching, man. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We will girl. Is in the house too. Jim Steele. So I don't know. I think it's a circus with Trump. I think Trump already on face value is gaming the system. He's using it effectively to rile up the base. The Democrats thought that they would wake up the sleepy masses that went to sleep after the 2020 election, which most people do. By the second year after an election, the people that were involved, the fanatics, are gone. And some of the sane people and the people that are looking forward to 2024 start to get involved. And that's where we're at right now. So Democrats are trying to wake up their own sleepy base and get them hating Trump again, because that's what you have to do. And why not? Let's start by labeling him a criminal. See, he's a criminal without making it up. See, Alvin Bragg, in New York, we have nothing to do with that. We didn't have anything to do with Alvin Bragg bringing charges against Trump. That was his own doing. He did that because that's just his worldview. So anyway. So thank you all for joining me. We'll see you tonight, Tuesday, Dharma gathering. Meditate, and see you this evening. And we'll talk about something less fiery. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about Trump. Maybe we'll talk about Trump and his spirituality. Trump the spiritualist. Marcus Conte reporting.